Hey everyone, before we get started, make sure to subscribe to my channel for more stories like this. It began as a joke, or at least that's what I kept telling myself. We were all gathered around the dinner table with friends, laughter bouncing off the walls, wine glasses half full, plates still warm. I never imagined that one careless comment from me would completely change the course of that night, and the way I saw my husband forever. Michael and I had been married for 9 years. We had built a comfortable life, the kind that makes people assume everything is perfect, a charming home, steady careers, summer vacations. But beneath those polite smiles and picture-perfect moments, we had quietly grown into strangers living under the same roof. He buried himself in work, and I hid my loneliness behind sarcasm. That night, our friends Mark and Olivia had invited us over for dinner. Conversation meandered from work to relationships, and at some point, Olivia teased her husband about forgetting their anniversary. Laughter erupted around the table, and somehow the spotlight shifted to me. "Careful, Olivia," I said, swirling my wine. "If Michael forgets ours next year, I might just get myself a new husband." The table exploded in laughter. It was meant to be harmless, a throwaway line to keep the banter going. But when I looked at Michael, he wasn't laughing. He sat there, still jaw tight, eyes cold. For a brief second, our gazes locked, and something unspoken passed between us. The laughter around the table faltered, replaced by a tense silence. He quietly set down his fork and leaned back. "You should," he said flatly. "Maybe then you'd finally understand it isn't the husband that's the problem." The room froze. Olivia's hand paused mid-reach for her glass. Mark glanced between us, unsure whether to smile or stay silent. My heart started racing, my throat dry. "What's that supposed to mean?" I asked, forcing a nervous laugh. Michael's tone remained steady. "It means you spent years blaming me for everything that's wrong in your life. Maybe a new husband won't fix what's actually broken." You could have heard a pin drop. My cheeks burned, my laughter died, and suddenly the joke didn't feel funny anymore. He didn't raise his voice. He didn't need to. The calmness in his words cut deeper than a shout ever could. Everyone at the table shifted uncomfortably, pretending to check their phones or take another bite. Anything to escape the tension. I wanted to defend myself, but for the first time, I didn't know how. That single moment felt like our entire marriage unraveling in front of everyone. The car ride home was painfully silent. Streetlights flashed across Michael's face as he drove, expression unreadable, calm, distant, almost too calm. I stared out the window, replaying the moment over and over, wishing I could take it back. When we finally arrived home, he didn't wait for me to speak. He stepped out, unlocked the door, and went straight to the living room. I followed quietly, heart pounding, unsure whether to apologize or defend myself. He poured himself a drink and sat on the couch, elbows on his knees, staring at the floor. "You think it's funny, don't you?" he said without looking up, "turning our marriage into a joke for others." I swallowed hard. "It was just a joke, Michael. You're overreacting." He let out a bitter, small laugh. "Overreacting? You humiliated me in front of our friends, Emma. Do you even realize how often you do that? How often you make me the punchline?" His voice wasn't angry. It was tired, and that hurt more than any shouting ever could. "I didn't mean it like that," I said softly. "You've just been distant lately. I don't know how to reach you anymore. Sometimes humor is the only way I can get your attention." Finally, he looked up, his eyes dark, filled with something I hadn't seen in years. Exhaustion. "You don't try to reach me, Emma. You try to wound me." Every sarcastic comment, every jab in front of others. It's like you want to feel small so you can feel in control. That hit hard. Deep down, I knew there was truth to it. He stood and walked toward the hallway. "You don't need a new husband, Emma," he said quietly. "You need a mirror." And just like that, he disappeared into the bedroom, leaving me alone in the living room, shaking. His words crushed me, not because they were cruel, but because they were true. Somewhere along the way, amid missed date nights, long work hours, and petty arguments, I had stopped being his partner and become his critic. I sank onto the couch and stared at the empty glass he had left behind, wondering when love had turned into rivalry. I thought about the early days, the late-night talks, effortless laughter, the way he used to look at me like I was his entire world. Now, I couldn't remember the last time I saw that look. The next morning, the house felt different. Quiet, but not peaceful. Michael had already left for work. His coffee mug rinsed, jacket gone, his side of the bed perfectly made. I stared at the empty space he'd left behind, feeling the echo of his words in my head. You need a mirror. It haunted me all day. I replayed every joke I'd made at his expense, dinners, gatherings, even small moments at home. It was true. I had turned my resentment into entertainment, mistaking sarcasm for communication, cruelty for confidence. Maybe I wanted to show I didn't care that he had grown distant. But the truth was, I cared too much. That evening, I tried calling him. No answer. I texted, "Can we talk tonight?" No reply. Hours passed before I heard the front door unlock. He didn't look at me as he walked in. "Dinner's in the fridge," I said softly. "I made your favorite." "Thanks," he muttered, placing his keys on the counter. I could feel the wall between us. Thick, unbreakable. I took a deep breath and finally said what I should have that night. "Michael, I'm sorry for what I said, for all the jokes, for making you feel small when I should have made you feel loved." He paused a long time before speaking. "It's not just about last night, Emma. It's about all the nights before it. You used to build me up. Now it feels like you only look for ways to tear me down." Tears filled my eyes. "I know," I whispered, "and I hate that I became that person. I just felt invisible, Michael, like no matter what I said or did, you were somewhere else. So I tried to make you notice me, even if it meant hurting you." He looked at me, really looked. The anger in his eyes had softened, replaced by something heavier. Sadness. "We both stopped seeing each other," he said quietly. "You made jokes. I made distance. And we called it love. We stood there, two broken people holding the fragments of something that used to be whole. I don't know if we can fix this," I admitted. He sighed, rubbing the back of his neck. "Maybe not, but we can stop making each other the enemy." For the first time in a long while, we sat down and talked, not as husband and wife trying to win, but as two people trying to understand. In that fragile silence, I realized something. Sometimes the harshest words are the ones that finally make you see the truth.